When you first spawn into a new game in San Andreas, you don't have to go to CJ's house or get on the BMX. In fact, you can fly all the way to Los Venturas and even get yourself a haircut and tattoos at the very start of the game. You can also head down to the beach and even get CJ absolutely jacked before you even visit Grove Street for the first time. In the mission Big Smoke and CJ and Kendall, you don't have to stay on the BMX at all. In fact, you can get off of the BMX and get into a vehicle and even use this to speed up the mission by pushing the other homies. There's a much quicker way to complete the mission Rider without having to go through a painful cutscene that's unskippable. In order to do this, as soon as the mission starts, simply blow up Ryder's car. As you can see from this comparison, that then allows you to complete the mission quicker even after failing it for the first time. Because eventually, after getting out of the barber shop, there is a unskippable cutscene that takes ages to get through, but after blowing up his car, you don't have to watch this at all. In tagging up turf, the game's going to ask you to tag various spray tags around the city. First of all, you don't even have to jump the wall to spray this one right here, simply spray towards the wall. Second of all, a little later in the mission, it's going to ask you to do a parkour sequence in order to get to the very last tag. But with a well-timed jump, you can skip this entire section completely and complete the mission much quicker. In cleaning up the hood, if you head too close to this target right here, a cutscene will play, and the game will expect you to then fight this guy with your fists until you knock him out. However, if you shoot the target from across the street, far enough away that you don't trigger the cutscene, you can skip this entire section. In the mission drive-through, there's a much quicker way to take out the enemy vehicle and head back towards Grove Street. In order to do this, all you need to do is pull up next to the vehicle like you see on screen here, so that the passenger's weapon is pretty much clipping through the driver's side of the vehicle. This will result in your homies taking out the driver and a much quicker finish to the mission. In the mission Home Invasion, it's possible to run around as much as you like without making any noise or failing the mission. In order to do this, all you need to do is bring a sniper rifle with you to the house, sneak up to the upstairs bedroom, and simply snipe the guy in the head.
Get off my ridge, you Viet Cong bastards!
And you can now make as much noise as you want without failing. In the mission Catalyst, where you have to throw crates to Ryder's vehicle, the game will have you think that you have to be careful with how you throw them, but a funny thing is you can literally just spam the button and it has no consequences whatsoever. In the mission Robbing Uncle Sam, there's a few tricks that I want to show you. First of all, once you're in the forklift sequence and have to steal the crates, you can actually lift 2 crates at once. Not only this, but once you've got enough crates to progress the mission, you can destroy the remainder of them, and a lot of them have hidden weapons inside that are very useful this early in the game, and if you're lucky you can even find grenades. In the mission OG Loke, it's actually possible to defeat the enemy way before the end of the mission, basically passing it within the very first few minutes. In order to do this, when the character heads down that hill there, you want to take a left as you can see on the footage. Then bank right and stop at this corner right here, and as soon as the enemy comes into your view, you want to just hold fire, so you need an SMG in order to do this. As you can see, this allows you to temporarily damage the enemy's vehicle and ends up destroying it. However, if you don't manage to nail it on your first attempt, don't worry, because you can head this direction instead, and the game will give you another chance to do this glitch. Life's a Beach has to be the biggest ballsack mission in this entire game. You don't have to dance. All you have to do before you even go into the marker is recruit some homies, then try and get into the van, and one of the homies will also try and get in the van, and then you can disband the gang just as he's getting in and shoot him out of the driver's seat, and you get the van for free. Great imports is so much easier if you just drive through the building with a motorcycle using an SMG. Then when you reach the end, you can just drive over the enemy or just shoot him and kill him much quicker than if you were on foot. But there's also another secret about this mission that many people didn't realise, including myself. You can actually shoot this crate here and it activates a secret where it crushes one of the enemies, which is a pretty nasty way to go out, I do say so myself. Running Dog is one of those missions that's not memorable for whatever reason. It's hard to even remember what this mission is if you haven't played the game recently. So in the standard version of this mission, you're supposed to run after this guy here on foot and then take him out. But there's a slightly quicker way to do this, which is as soon as the mission starts, just turn around and there's always a vehicle that spawns right here. You can push it around like I'm doing on screen, use this vehicle to run over the enemy, and as soon as the mission is complete, you'll be in a vehicle already, allowing you the ability to just drive to the next mission without having to look for a car. It's a very small optimization that only a speedrunner would really care about, but it's still a mission hack nonetheless. Wrong side of the tracks, we all knew that this one was coming at some point in the video. This mission is actually a lot easier than you'd expect once you know how to do it. Throughout the years, many people have come up with various strategies to complete this mission in creative ways. The easiest way to do it is to follow the route on screen here, by driving up this small bridge and going onto this roof. The minute you see one of the enemies come into your field of view, like you see right here, just drive onto the train. I did it a bit early there, but from here you can then shoot your SMG and Big Smoke will take them out, and the mission is passed so much quicker. In the mission Caesar Vilpando, where you have to do the lowrider dancing, again there's not really many optimizations for this mission, and it's actually quite a fun one. However, with nitrous installed, you can immediately jump into the dam or the water duct from the garage, and this is the quickest route to get to the lowrider meet. So it's a cool little shortcut, but nothing special. Mad Dog's Rhymes is actually a lot easier than you'd think. You don't even need to use stealth to get past this mission. Slash the first enemy and run straight past him to stun him so he doesn't do much damage on you. Run past the second guard like you've seen in the footage. The third guard, you can just jump straight past him. When you get to the lounge, just hug the wall to the left and jump at the very end as you see here. From here, as soon as you grab the rhyme book, you will have access to all of your weapons anyway. I wouldn't really necessarily call this one a mission hack in the sense that it helps you out. During the mission management issues, OG Loke tasks CJ with obtaining a vehicle for a bodyguard to then attend a celebrity red carpet meeting in order to assassinate a target. Now usually in this mission, once the target has entered the vehicle, you're tasked with driving to the pier all the way down at the ocean in order to then bail out of the vehicle and assassinate the target. However, the conditions aren't quite as strict as that. As long as you drive into any body of water, then the game will still recognize as the task being complete. So as you can see here, there's a few different locations where you can actually do this and fulfill the objective earlier than expected, completing the mission up to a minute earlier than usual. But during the mission house party, once you clear out all of the first wave of enemies, a new wave of enemies is going to spawn on the bridge. However, if you continue to aim after you defeat the first wave of enemies, the enemies will only spawn once you stop aiming, allowing you to get to a much better position before they do spawn. Although this doesn't make the mission any quicker or necessarily any easier by any means. In the mission Reuniting the Families, where you have to make it to the motel to save Sweet, there's a really interesting glitch here. As you can see, there's a homie on the staircase immediately as you go in. As it turns out, this guy has infinite amount of health, allowing you to level up your weapon skill extremely fast. In fact, this is the quickest way to level up your weapon skill in the game. As soon as you make it to the Badlands, Tenpenny and Pulaski put you up to an assassination where they require photo evidence of the, well, shall we say, disposal of the agent. Now, most people would go to the right up Mount Chiliad, but as it turns out, the quickest route up to the top of the mountain to where the target is actually by going left and following the route you see on screen here. During the mission Against All Odds, which is one of the missions with Catalina, it's actually possible to throw a satchel charge through the door by getting close and then throwing an additional one on the door, which allows you to blow up the safe and the door in one go as opposed to doing it in two separate goes, which it makes it a couple of seconds quicker. Also, pick up these satchel charges right outside the betting shop. We're going to need these for this next mission here, Are You Going to San Fierro? And this makes this mission so much easier. In the normal version of this mission, you're required to use the flamethrower to burn all of the plants. However, as it turns out, if you evenly space these satchel charges, it makes it so much quicker, almost instantaneously destroying them. In the mission Snail Trail, you don't have to follow the train all the way to Los Santos. Instead, pick up the sniper rifle and head towards the train, bailing off as quickly as you can and entering this specific door on the train for around half a second to a second window as it comes to a stop. This will allow you to do a trip skip by skipping the train journey all the way to Los Santos, about 60% quicker. So Deconstruction is a really cool mission because it's got one of those strategies that's really cool. First of all, the rocket launcher you got from Are You Going to San Fierro will come very in handy. Towards the end of the mission, you're going to need to try and get this Portaloo into the hole. Now, one really cool way you can do this is with the Satchel charges that we got from Against All Odds. You want to try and line this up quite specifically. CJ's right arm needs to be around where you see it on screen here, where it's in the middle of the Portaloo. From here, you want to place 3 Satchel charges and detonate them. And watch it as the Portaloo goes flying into the hole. It's a pretty cool trick. It's also quite pointless and also can fail quite easily. But if you nail it, then it makes you feel like a badass. Outrider is the mission where you have to protect a van all the way to its destination, taking out various roadblocks of enemies en route. However, when the mission starts and you head to the van, instead of going into the marker, get one of your Satchel charges and walk to where I am walking here. Press and hold to do a long throw and detonate it when you're around here on screen. Drive immediately into the marker. This will cause the driver to bail out and the vehicle to be repaired, which will then allow you to drive the van straight to the destination, passing the mission almost immediately. Amphibious assault does take quite a while, but it doesn't have to take that long. As soon as the mission starts, if you turn right around and head towards this boulder right here, then aim in the direction I'm aiming and do a jump, you can climb on top of the rock, sprint and jump over to here, and actually make it out of bounds. And we're doing this for a very specific reason. In the top left you can see a comparison of the speed of the game if you had have done it the regular route. If you come here, there is a small dinghy which you can use to immediately drive over to the boat, making it so much quicker. Of course, you all probably know this trick, but in Pier 69, rather than following Ryder as he dives off of the pier and pursuing him in a boat, which can take ages to actually catch up to him and do enough damage, the sniper rifle you're given at the start of the mission should still be in your inventory, so you can just use this to snipe him from the pier and pass the mission almost instantly. In the mission Mike Torino, you need to go with T-Bone Mendez in order to find him because he's been kidnapped. However, you don't actually need to follow the instructions at all. All you need to do is head immediately to the airport and you can pretty much insta-pass the mission once you find the van. It has one of 3 spawn locations, but once you find it, just follow it and allow it to stop. Also, don't forget to pick up the heat-seeking rocket launcher in this location, which is going to be very important in a few moments' time. In the mission Ice Cold Killer, before you enter Jizzy's Pleasure Dome, take his vehicle and drive it into the water or destroy it. That way, when Jizzy exits the palace, once you're chasing him, he will no longer have the vehicle to escape in, resulting in him stealing a Pizza Boy bike instead. In the mission Torino's Last Flight, this is exactly why we picked up the heat-seeking rocket launcher a few seconds ago. This mission is extremely frustrating without it. However, with the heat-seeking rocket from the San Fierro airport, all you have to do is lock onto the helicopter as soon as the cutscene's finished, and then just go on around your merry way. No more stress of tracing down the helicopter down the highway, as the mission passes almost instantly. By the way, a lot of people hate this mission Supply Lines, and I'll admit it's probably one of the worst missions in the entire game. But it doesn't really have to be as hard as it is. You can actually complete it without losing much fuel at all. All you have to do to not have this issue is not hold W or not accelerate. The RC plane will actually coast for pretty much any distance you want without even accelerating. In the mission Monster, there's going to be a certain part of the race course, and once you go through, I believe it's this marker here, marker 14, there's going to be an abandoned ghost town, and here you can find a heat-seeking rocket launcher, and we're going to need that for the next mission. And that is very important that you have a heat-seeking rocket launcher for this next mission, because this is going to be the mission Interdiction, which is where Mike Torino asks you to drop a flare, pick up a package from a cargo bob, and you have to shoot down helicopters with a rocket launcher. Using this heat-seeking rocket launcher makes this mission so much easier. Now you don't have to rely on skill and luck, and you just lock onto the helicopters and shoot whenever you want. In the mission Hijack, it actually turns out that your motorbike is much quicker if you go on the pavement to the side of the bridge than if you follow the road. In the mission Explosive Situation, you are on a timer to collect all the dynamite sticks and then get out of the quarry. However, you don't actually need this timer. There is a way to disable it. There's a guy over here who is on a speakerphone. As soon as the counter reaches 2 seconds, shoot him and the timer will magically disappear, allowing you to spend as much time as you like completing the mission. Although, to be honest, I wouldn't really call this necessarily a helpful hack, because you can complete it quite easily without it. In the mission Fender Ketchup, you have to intimidate this guy here by doing a variety of dangerous driving and stunts. As it turns out, if you do a handbrake turn to the left, it increases the meter infinitely. However, this doesn't work if you do handbrake turns to the right, which makes this the quickest way to do this mission. All you have to do is just do one loop around the casino and that's it, it's already done. As you can see from this example, the right hand turns are not doing anything, so definitely use this method in future if you want to get this mission done quickly. When you're chasing down Pulaski in high noon, rather than grabbing any vehicle, just run towards his vehicle and turn it like so. This can be a little bit tricky to get right, and sometimes it is just easier just to play the mission how it's intended. Then you want to hijack his vehicle while holding the shift button. And the minute you get into the vehicle, for some reason it will immediately push Pulaski out and insta-kill him, making this mission so much quicker. Home in the Hills is where you take back Mad Dog's mansion, and towards the end you're going to need to chase down a target who escapes in a vehicle. However, if you have a minigun equipped and you're quick enough, you can climb this wall here, switching to the minigun as you do so, and pre-firing, allowing you to destroy his vehicle instantly, skipping the car chase scene altogether. In the mission Up, Up and Away, it's possible to do a glitch that will grant you infinite minigun ammunition. The only thing you need to do for this is to bring along your jetpack, and as you access the cannon, hold the space button or start to take off with your jetpack, and at the same time enter the minigun turret. Then once you enter the turret, you will now have 30,000 rounds of minigun ammunition. In the mission Vertical Bird, you are instructed by Mike Torino to steal a Hydra jet from this Navy ship right here. Now, contrary to popular belief, you don't need to activate or deactivate the SAM turrets. So you can just head on straight to the jet, but watch out for the missiles because there is a very close call right there. Follow the route I'm taking and stay low. When you get underneath this bridge, start to decelerate. What you'll notice is that the jets scrambled after you will fly into the bridge, sometimes destroying all three, but if you're lucky, but usually only around 1 or 2 will be destroyed, but it makes the dogfight a lot easier. Later on in the mission, rather than actually flying and destroying all of the boats, you can simply land and get out and use your minigun or sniper rifle to take them out. They'll only take 4 hits from a sniper, so they're very weak, and it's a much easier way to complete the mission. The quickest way to complete cutthroat business is by taking this road to the right you've seen me do here. A little bit further down this road you're going to come across this bridge. From here you kind of want to go straight over onto this grass and head towards this tree. Just before you go off the cliff, bank right a little bit, sort of like I do here. What this will do is completely skip the bridge segment and instantly trigger the cutscene. But that isn't the quickest way to also finish this mission. Rather than getting into the Vortex hovercraft and chasing OG Loke, what you can do instead is get into the news van behind you, stay close to the shoreline, and actually it turns out this is a much quicker way to finish this mission and make it to the next segment with the go-karts than if you actually just get into the hovercraft and follow OG Loke on the water, which is a pretty cool secret in my opinion. In the final boss fight with Big Smoke, it's actually possible to instantly take him out. The way you do this is very complicated, and if you manage to do it, let me know down in the comment section below. Essentially, you need a spray can and you need to spray him so he starts choking. You then need to equip your knife and perform a stealth attack behind him. This will instantly skip the boss fight and end this segment of the mission. Now, I know I said there would be one life hack in every mission, but it just turns out that not every mission has something that can be applied. Some of them are races, some of them are just kind of optimized the way they are. So in today's video, I've covered pretty much every hack there is available in most of the missions, but there are a few that may have slipped through the cracks. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it useful. I certainly found some of these tips useful when I first discovered them, and I hope to see you guys in a future GTA video.